Hi, Davey again. So, in the previous video, I talked about side effects from a theoretical point of view, right? And I hope it was clear for you, but let's dive a little bit into the code so you get a better understanding of side effect from a code perspective. So, look at this. We have a simple function that says get user by name. And we have here a list of users, so I can just say user and yeah, we just going to have something that has a name and say Davy, and then another one that has a name here says Xavier. That's my little boy name. So we have these users. So if I call that user here, that get function get user by name, and then I pass users, and then I say, for example, here Davy, right? We know that right here nothing's gonna really happen because we haven't implemented that. So one of the really easy way to implement that is just to say we're going to return user.find, and then we're going to say something like, hey, if we have a user here, let's just return user name. If we're gonna return username if username is equal name, right? So as you can see here, we're returning it's basically working from here. But now this function, the question for you is pure or not pure? Is the answer, or you can pause and then think of it for a second. Okay, that's already too long, right? Think of it this way. This is a pure function, right? You give it an input and then an output. When I was talking about the box system, is indeed you have that input and output. If you don't remember what the box system is, I'm gonna quickly go back in there and then show you that you had that box system where you got an input and output, and then at the input and the output right here. Input and output. So if you go back to the code, you see that we have two inputs and then one expected output right there. So this is a pure function right there. Now look at this. For the same mechanism, I will say the user. Now you pass you call the function user find. What happened when in this system you start having something that looks like this? Now you say set timeout, right? So basically set timeout is this one, and in there we're just going to say that we're going to have the result here. So let's call it like result. I like to do this one, and then just say we don't know what that thing is yet, right? So and then we say user.find, and then we do exactly the same thing, user, and then user.name is equal name, right? So we have that, and we're going to pass that to the result, right? And if we do this, we just return that over here. But as you can see, it says undefined, although something happened right there. And even if you pass 0 right there, I always ask that to people that attend my bootcamp, like, what do you think is going to happen there? Like 80% of them, okay, it's probably a little bit less, more or less than that. They all go like, hey, yeah, we're gonna have the information right there. And I even trick them by just saying, okay, 100, and then they say, well, not sure if we're going to have it, and say put it right here at 0, and they still get confused because they still don't get it right, because they think 0 means it's gonna happen right away. That thing there, it's already a source of side effect, right? It's a source of side effect, right? It could be exactly the same as writing a fetch, and then you say, oh, I'm gonna call the API /user, and then pass say that this thing here is going to have a method that is a post, and then you bundle the the data. I'm not sure how you do that again. You actually pass it like this, where you say that, hey, you're going to pass the name right there as a property, and then what comes in there, you're just gonna have to catch it, get the thing, and then do the operation. These two things, this is a side effect, set timeout, and so is this one, right? What I'm trying to say there is the fact that in both cases, you don't have control over the time that thing is going to take, right? So if I go here and I say user, even if you use async await right here, meaning that you now in a way I say await, and in a way you shortcut the fact that you're going to receive the answer right there and then return it right below. You still don't have control over the time that thing's gonna take, and it doesn't matter if you pass the same argument again and again. The time of response here isn't under your control. So that is a side effect. And in programming, in JavaScript or any programming language, you need that side effect for things to happen. Without a side effect, well, nothing is happening really in your app. So another example of side effect here that I can quickly show you is this one. So let me remove this for now, and I'll come back to it in a few minutes because I would like to show you a different way of approaching this. So let me return that. So we had this thing here before, which is basically arguably the pure way of doing it. But if here, instead of receiving the name from here, and then you will say, well, I don't have the name there, but I'm going to have window.name this way, and then you say that's basically the one you passed there, and then guess what crazy things you're gonna do? You're just gonna go here and say window.name, and then you say Davy. And right there, so I think I have this one working. So what do we have? It says users, but actually here it's users. So look, it's working. It is working. Now, one of the things that is clear here is, yeah, well, it's not a pure function because what is happening here depends on things that are external to it. But I could, for example, say here window, let's say console log something. Here I'm bringing already a side effect because console log is writing outside of that function, and I'm gonna close on this one for this approach, and I have another video that's gonna explain you from an Haskell point of view, as I mentioned before. So another thing you can think of here is we have that user find, and we basically passing the windows.name right there. So this could have been like in another file. So let's say that in another file I had these users comes from another file. So I will, for example, say import fs here from fs here, right? So that's basically the file system, and then I would say something like fs read. So I think I need to import it in a different way as this, and then I can now enjoy some help here. So I will just, for example, read file, and there you have read file, and I will say, for example, go and read the file user.json, right? And then from that file, you're just gonna pass a function here that's gonna return you something, and then that logic here, let's say here I'm gonna have some data and some error right there, and data, I don't remember the API, the way that API works, but let's assume that data here is users, right? So then I can move this thing right here, let me move that here, right? And now what you will say here, oh, well, let's return this and let's return this. And now you start having, you really don't have control over what is happening there. So I think I can do something like this. That thing, that file reading the file right there is an I/O operation, right? It's basically you're reading, you're accessing some resources to do things with them. So this is a side effect, right? But you need that in apps. Otherwise, how do you read you access this data, right, from a function? You can't. So you can think of, yeah, pure, I want everything to be pure, which is pretty good. This is a good approach of writing code, but only pure things won't give you a result in life. Say in life, but you got to think of it like, hey, my application needs to interact with the world, and the world brings side effect, and there is a way to control side effect, and that's the next video. You stick around, you click that video, and I'll show you some awesomeness. Cheers, people.